Hi everyone! Today we're going to be focusing on luxury beauty products. I'll be sharing speed reviews of the products that I love, the ones that really aren't worth it, and I'll also feature some of my luxury vanity and toiletry cases that I use to house all of these beautiful products. So if we haven't met, my name is Jo and I'm a lover of all luxury bags and beauty. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and be sure to click the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. Now, the Louis Vuitton line has been causing quite a stir given the pricing, with the lip products retailing for $160 and the eyeshadow palettes are $250. And I've been following all of the conversations on social media, and I find it interesting that so many people are saying it's not worth it, yet I've also seen that so many of the products are already sold out after just the first day of their online release. So definitely comment below, what are your thoughts on the Louis Vuitton pricing strategy? I am so curious what you guys think and whether or not you guys plan to buy those products. For me personally, I'm torn. Like I said, I am a collector of luxury beauty for sure. And also as a content creator, I almost feel like I should buy it just to try it so that you don't have to. The price tag on that truly is insane, and I honestly don't know if I'm going to be willing to buy it. I really do think it might be a game time decision. Either way, let's go ahead and start talking about some of these other luxury beauty brands and the products that are, in my opinion, actually worth the splurge. So quick note, when picking the items to feature in this video, I literally went with my gut. I was picking out items that were the first ones to come to mind. So just be aware that the items I feature, it's not an exhaustive list by any means. And also take note that I will be sticking strictly to luxury brands, as again, I was thinking of comparisons to the Louis Vuitton launch. Let me know though if you would ever like me to do a video on drugstore or mid-range brands, because there are plenty that I would say definitely compete with these luxury products in terms of quality. So let's start out with lip products. So first we have my all-time favorites, which are the Dior lip glows. I can't tell you how many of these I have gone through at this point. They are just truly so nourishing, and I really do love the smell of them. I love how they absorb into my lips and keep them soft all day. So next we have YSL, we have the Candy Glaze, and then I think these are called the Candy Glow. So these are kind of a hybrid of a lip gloss and balm, and then I think these are more of their more traditional type of balm. But I love both of these very much. I do think, again, they are very nourishing. These Candy Glaze ones really do give a really beautiful shine. These ones give kind of a more balm finish. And I just love how they keep my lips feeling really soft for hours. And they do have a good pigment to them as well, which I do appreciate. Next, we have the Gucci Balm in the shade No More Orchids. And this is one of my all-time favorites. I actually purchased a backup one just in case if they were to ever discontinue it. I know the color looks very bright in the bullet, but it is actually a really beautiful shade. But really, the reason I also love this so much is because of the packaging. It is my favorite shade of turquoise, and you'll see it in nearly all of my bag spills because it is one of my favorite colors. So for products I don't recommend, we have the Hermes Lip Enhancer and their lip balm. Let's start with the lip enhancer. I'll be the first to say they don't call this a lip balm, but to be honest, like, I don't know what this product is supposed to do. It's not glossy, it's not really adding any color. It's just blah. It just sits on your lips. It doesn't add any moisture whatsoever. If anything, it almost makes my lips feel drier. So I am really not impressed with this product. I will say I do love the packaging. I love the packaging on both of these. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see this lippy in like every one of my bag spills because I just think the white, the gold, the pink, it is such a beautiful color combo and it feels very substantial. It's got this beautiful crest, the magnetic closure. This does feel like luxury to me, and it is refillable too. So again, I do like those aspects of it, but in terms of the actual product, I would say I do not recommend the lip enhancer itself. Now, the balm, I feel the same way. This one, you know, you get an average amount of product, but it's just really not as moisturizing as the others that I've already mentioned that are my favorites. So again, since this is $81, I just really don't recommend it. But if you want something pretty for your collection, then yeah, that's why you would be buying it. The other one I would not recommend to buy are the Chanel Coco Rouge, particularly this clear version. I don't mind this color one. This is shade Flirty Coral. I do use this one especially in the summer. It is quite pretty and light, but the clear one in particular, I feel like this one is trash. It's not moisturizing at all. In general, both of these feel really cheap, really plasticky, not magnetic. I just don't think these are worth it whatsoever. And then finally, we have the Gucci Universal Balm. Now, I know this is supposed to have multiple uses. You can use it as a lip balm, you can use it as a cuticle cream, all sorts of things. But honestly, I just don't feel like this formula is all that nourishing. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's just not my favorite. I bought it strictly for the packaging. I will say the packaging is really pretty, but for the price, I don't know. I don't think it's my favorite. I also don't like this type of setup for a lip balm where I have to stick my finger in it. I like having the bullets. So overall though, I feel like this is more of a collector piece. But if you want a good balm, stick with their actual lip balm like the No More Orchids one. So onward to lip gloss, or in this case lip oils, and that would be the Dior Lip Glow Oil. They really are very good. They aren't sticky at all, and I do feel like they make my lips look really plump and juicy, and I actually like the smell and the lip applicator as well. It's like a nice thick lip applicator. I think the other one worth noting is the YSL Beauty Love Shine Plumping Oils. Now, I will say I hate most lip plumping products. I don't like the tingle. This one though, I felt like there definitely is a tingle. Like this one has a little spice to it, but it is tolerable and I do feel like the effects are really beautiful. I like the shade range of this set as well. So now let's talk about lipsticks. One of my all-time favorites is this Hermes shade 16 Beige Tadelact. I think I butchered that. I'm really sorry. But this shade is just the perfect beigey pink color and I am absolutely obsessed with it. The finish on it is so beautiful and I think it really just complements my skin tone very well. Next we have Westman Atelier. These are their lip suedes. So the first one here is Le Rouge and you guys look at this color. It is just so beautiful and I don't know if you can see the details, but the embossing on it is just so cute. But you can just see with the swatch, it is so rich and pigmented. It is in the shade Lacquer and it is a more beigey color. Again, look at that swatch. They aren't too heavy. They aren't very drying on the lips. So another really beautiful option. So one that I actually wouldn't recommend is this Guerlain lipstick. And there are a few reasons I'm not a fan. And one of them that really surprised me was the packaging. I had actually purchased this because I adore tortoiseshell, and when I saw that this was an option for the case, I bought it right away, but I don't like it, to be honest. So when you open it, the mirror kind of flips up right away, but it doesn't stay down. You have to push it down, and then when you close it, this little tab here keeps the mirror shut. But that means you really can't just like open it with one hand, and it's hard to like open and close. Also, it's, you know, teetery, you can't stand it up. It does feel substantial, but when you take the heavy mirror case off, the lipstick itself feels pretty cheap. And also, I cannot stand the smell. Like, this has such a strong fragrance to it, and it's like a flowery, like just powdery smell, and it's so strong that I can like literally smell it on my face after I've applied it on my lips, and I do not like it at all. So, and the last lippy I want to talk about are long wear lipsticks, and I would say hands down the best ones are these Chanel lip duos. Now, I've purchased 3 of these now, even though they do cost a pretty penny, but they seriously just last so long. So you put the color shade on your lips, and then once it dries down, this side here has a clear gloss on it, and you just paint that over your lips and you are good to go. So the only thing you would really have to reapply throughout the day would be the clear side if you want a more glossy finish. The gloss is not sticky, it's very light, and honestly, this does not come off. Like if you are drinking coffee, if you're kissing your partner, it stays on. It is a really great product. So now let's talk about face products, and specifically we'll start with foundations. So I recently was gifted this Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, and honestly, I get the hype. I really do feel like it's a gorgeous finish. It's very lightweight, feels like skin and looks like skin all day. I feel like it does have a lighter coverage on me, but again, it doesn't feel cakey when applied. It's just kind of a like my skin but better. I can build it up a little bit, but overall I do again think this is a really beautiful option. Another one I've talked about time and time again is the Dior Skin Perfecting Foundation Sticks. These really have continued to be one of my new holy grail items. I use these every day and I will be repurchasing them again. So I do have 2 shades. I have 2N and 3N. I am closer to the 3N shade, but in the winter time, I will probably either mix or go to the 2N shade. And again, look at the finish on these. They are just absolutely stunning. It really blends out like butter very quickly, very effortlessly. I highly, highly recommend it. Next, we have concealers. I will say I really like the Dior Flash Perfector Concealer. It works really well on my under eyes. It doesn't get all dried and cakey. I do have to powder it to make sure, you know, my mascara or liner won't bleed, but overall I do think it is a really great concealer that is like nourishing and creamy. Next, we have the Gucci Longwear Concealer. To be honest, I bought this for the packaging. I just think it is so pretty. I did get the wrong shade though, like clearly this isn't gonna work for me, so I actually haven't used this one much. If I recall, I don't feel like it was anything to write home about, but again, I'm just including it because it's beautiful. Something I wouldn't recommend, and I know it's not really a concealer, I think it is an under eye like brightener, but this is the Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat, I think it's called. And I've tried using it multiple times, and I guess I just don't understand this product. Like, I don't feel like it does a great job brightening my under eyes and brightening different areas on my skin. And I don't know, I don't get what the hype is about this product. So personally, it's not one that I would recommend. Okay, next we're going to talk about bronzers, and I'm going to start with my powder bronzers. So I really love this Gucci one, and I have watched a lot of reviews, and I know some people really hate this bronzer, and I kind of get it. It is a bit finicky. You know, you really have to tap your brush before applying it to your skin. And I would say overall, you're going to want to use a light hand. But to me, I really like the shade. I really do feel like it's very pretty. And it has like a good undertone to it. I actually like the scent as well. I do feel like it smells very luxurious. But for me, one of the main drivers as to why I bought this to begin with is the beautiful compact. Like, this is just truly something else. It stands out as something, you know, to put on your vanity. It comes with this adorable little brush that I don't use, but I think it's cute. So I don't know, for me, it's the whole luxe experience of this compact that even if I weren't, you know, going to use it, I would still want it in my collection. Next, we have the YSL bronzer, and I mean, guys, look at the packaging. Again, the luxury beauty brands, they really know how to do their packaging. This one really is beautiful. The formula is quite nice. It blends very well. This one is a lighter shade, obviously, but again, really great powder product. But again, definitely tap your brush before putting it on your face. So the newest powder bronzer that I've added to my collection is this one from Giorgio Armani. And honestly, I was pretty skeptical when I first got it because, as you can see, it's a very like cool gold undertone to it, and it's got almost a little glitter in the pan, and I was really skeptical, but I have to say, when I tried it, it is a really pretty tone, and it does give like a bit of a glow. And for me, where I have a very golden undertone, this complements my skin quite well. Also, I will say specifically for this one, this pan is huge, so you're getting a lot of product with it. So for a cream bronzer, obviously, again, I'm going to bring up Dior because very similar to their Skin Perfecting Foundation, this bronzer is very buttery, very creamy, very easy to blend. I have a very cool tone shade, and so it works very well for contour, probably more than bronzer, but I really do like it for kind of chiseling out my face. So for liquid bronzer, I do have these from Westman Atelier. These are her bronzing drops, and I bought them because I liked the packaging. And I was gifted, I think, 2 of them. These are really pretty on the skin. They are definitely more of a natural look, but I will say I'm on the fence about whether I would recommend them because they are quite messy. Like, I just feel like these containers just get, you know, really messy like this. And so even if I try my best, like, not to squeeze it when I open it, I just always feel like I end up just getting it everywhere. But if you look, you'll see that they are very, very blendable and leave a really pretty blended finish on the skin. So I don't know, I'm torn. I do think these are pretty, but you know, just be prepared, it is a bit messy. So next we'll talk about blushes. My current favorite is this YSL Make Me Blush powder. I do feel like I did originally buy these because of the packaging, but again, I've mentioned this in other videos. I am absolutely obsessed with the formula, particularly the formula and shade of this one. I believe this is Restless Rose, but it kind of reminds me of NARS Orgasm. But oh my gosh, like it is so beautiful. It blends out so well. It gives such a beautiful finish on the skin. This is their matte shade. Again, look at that swatch. These really are truly worth the investment in my book. The other powder blush I would recommend are the formula from Gucci. I really do love these. They are really beautiful. Look at that. So beautiful. This is their limited edition packaging. This is shade 4, I want to say. Yeah, shade 4. The other one I have is shade 1. I think it's in my everyday makeup pile, so I don't have it. But these are cooler tones. I do feel like the pigment on these ones are a little less intense from the YSL, but both are just so pigmented but soft and blendable and creamy. Another great product. Now for a blush that I wouldn't recommend, it would be this Chanel one. This is shade 72. But in general, I just don't like these. I feel like they are really like dry and just not like creamy and blendable. Here, swatch it. Like you can even see that swatch. It's like so sad compared to these ones. Also, the packaging is just, it's boring. It's like super plasticky and light. For the amount of money I spent on this, I felt like it came straight out of 1992, like with this stupid brush. So I'm just not a fan of this one at all. Another one I wouldn't recommend is the Hermes blush. Now, this one really is a pretty shade, but it's so expensive. The packaging really is beautiful. It feels a little lighter than I thought for like, given the lipsticks have like more weight to them. But this one, it's very, very, very light. It's not as pigmented, and so you really have to build it up. It just kind of feels like nothing. So given the price, I don't think this is worth it. So for cream products, Westman Atelier has her cream blushes, and these are quite popular for a reason. So this is shade Petal. It is probably one of the more popular shades. But as you can see, it is very creamy. She always blends them out. Westman, Gucci Westman, I think her name is. She always blends it out with her hand, and it just blends out very nicely. These are expensive, but the packaging does feel really luxe, and the products are really nice. Finally, for liquid blushes, we have the YSL Make Me Blush liquid blushes. I have mentioned these again before in my favorite luxury items. I do think this blush, especially this combination, is really pretty. This one is kind of a warm pink shade, and then just adding this bright orangey coral color, which I think is intimidating on its own. But when you mix them together, it really makes a beautiful, like warm toned coral, which I've been wearing a lot this summer. So this is a really pretty combination, and the finish is beautiful. So let's talk about face powders. So I'm a weirdo. I really only use pressed powders for the most part. This beautiful, beautiful powder from Christian Louboutin. And this is stupid expensive, and it's annoying because you have to buy the parts separately. So you buy the compact, and then you have to buy this powder separately. So it does cost a pretty penny, but man, you guys, this is a luxe packaging if I've ever seen it. It is substantial. It's got this really satisfying magnet. The color and just like the embroidery, it's beautiful. The powder itself is really finely milled. It's got some pigment to it, but like it really just does blur the skin really, really well. So, you know, do you need it? Probably not. But if you want one that's gonna, you know, look very, very luxe on your vanity and also work, this is a great option. All right, let's talk about highlighters. So this is my ride or die. It's my Dior Luminizer. It's filthy. Like, don't look at it. I'm embarrassed. But you guys, like, I have hit pan on this. I have already purchased a backup of it. It is just so, so beautiful. I love the shade. Look at that. So pretty. And it doesn't really emphasize texture on the skin, which I really appreciate. The other one that I just added to my collection recently is this one from Dolce & Gabbana. I bought this because I thought the packaging was pretty. I didn't really have expectations for the product. But man, first of all, look at the embossing. How pretty is that? I almost didn't use it because it was too pretty, but I gave in and I am certainly glad I did because this one too is really pretty. And man, it packs a punch too. Look at that. Like, oh, these two are just so pretty. Like, there's nothing like a good highlighter, right, guys? Like, oh. So I would definitely recommend this, not only for the packaging, but it is a stunning shade too. So one I wouldn't recommend is the Hermes powder. Now, I got this actually, I won it in a giveaway, and I will say the embossing was stunning. It was so, so pretty. And it was another one that I almost didn't use because the embossing was beautiful. And then I gave in because I was like, I want to enjoy the product. So now it's not pretty anymore. But it's okay. It's not bad at all. But like, again, for the price, I just feel like the other two are, you know, wow. Okay, hold on. Okay, that's really pretty too. I mean, overall, like the Hermes one is really pretty. And so if you're really into Hermes products and you buy this, look, you can tell like all three of them are really beautiful. But I don't know. I just feel like this one is just kind of blah compared to the other two that I just showed. And it is more expensive than the Dior one. So to me, if we're talking about products that really work and feel luxe, I would say these first two are the better choice. Okay, and finally we have eye products. So I am very boring when it comes to eye products, so I'm not going to talk too long about these, but my first one that I think is actually really good is the Hermes mascara. Now, funny story about this. First of all, these are stupid expensive. So from a price standpoint, it's like not worth it. But if you splurge on this mascara, I do think you would like it. Now, I asked for this for Christmas because it was too pricey for my taste. And my mother-in-law got it for me for Christmas, and they accidentally shipped her 4 or 5 of them, and they just let her keep them. So that was an amazing Christmas present. And I was really excited to get so many of these mascaras. But yeah, this one has more of an old school brush to it, but I really do feel like it does kind of act as a very good overall, like it gives you volume, it gives you length, it kind of lifts your lashes up. So I do think this one is a general, like overall good mascara, but it's not going to add intense volume. It's not going to add intense length. It just kind of does everything pretty well. But I do like it, and I think the packaging is beautiful. And again, this feels luxe. It has weight to it. It just will look beautiful in your collection. The next one is the Gucci mascara. I actually do prefer the like formula and the brush to this because in the end of the day, like the brush plays such a big role. So this one does a really good job of separating and lengthening, I feel like. It adds definition. And so I do like those aspects of this mascara. And I do feel like it does so in a very like clean, non-clumpy way. And then finally, we have the YSL mascara, which, okay, I was drawn in by the really cool packaging of this one. Now, this has a very wet formula to it. So this one really is, I feel like, focused a lot more on volumizing. You do have to be a little careful with this one. It can get clumpy very quickly. So I do end up wiping off a good amount of mascara from the brush before I apply. Otherwise, it can get kind of spidery if you're not careful. But if you want volume, like, this one's going to give you volume. Finally, we have eyeshadows. So I'm really boring when it comes to eyeshadows, so I'm not the best person to talk about these. But in terms of my favorites, one that I feel like I never hear about is this one from Victoria Beckham. This is one of her shadow bricks. And this one I love because it's all of my favorite shades. So this is my shade range. These are the only colors I wear like 365 days a year. And so I do like this specific compact because it has the shades that I use on a daily basis. The formulas themselves, I think, are quite good. I would say they swatch pretty well. They look good on the eyes, and I just really like this compact. It feels very substantial and it's really small and compact. So for me, when I travel, I like to take this one with me because it's just so convenient. And finally, we have the YSL Mini Clutch Quad, and these are really beautiful. I will say, I feel like in terms of things that I invest in from a luxury beauty standpoint, eyeshadows are not the thing because I'm just, again, a very boring eyeshadow person. But again, these are really beautiful shades. They have a lot of different color combos for these. But these are very, very soft and creamy, more so than I would say the Victoria Beckham Beauty ones were. And I do like that they have so many different options. So those are those shades to compare the two. And again, this is another one where if you're buying it for the luxury experience, you want the packaging to kind of meet that luxury look. And I do think the Mini Clutch really does a great job. So last but not least, let's talk about my vanity bags and toiletry bags that I use to carry my makeup products. Since again, I'm mostly a bag channel, so I wanted to highlight some of these things. I would say if someone asks me, hey, I want to get a Louis Vuitton makeup pouch or toiletry pouch, what would you recommend? It would hands down be the Truce 23. This is a vintage piece, but to me, this is the perfect size. This is the perfect shape. This is the perfect amount of structure, but flexibility. I do think this is one of my favorite all-time travel products that Louis has made. So I have I have some junk in mine, sorry, but I mean, I could care less about these little elastics, but you can kind of use them to hold things. For me, just the fact that it has a pocket here, it has just space, and it's shaped in a way that you can really fit a lot inside of it. So this is a very flat pouch. There really isn't anything to it, but I love to use it for my makeup brushes so that they are separated and kind of organized. And then what I love is the fact that this fits into the Truce 23 so well, so I can keep all my brushes kind of confined in one place. I do have the Truce 18, which I also think is a great piece, but for me, I have too much makeup to fit into this little guy. So this I would use as like a tech pouch or to carry, some odds and ends when traveling, but I don't use this as my main makeup pouch. Next, we have the Gucci Ophidia pouch. This one is okay. It's definitely more structured than the Louis Vuitton cosmetic case, which I've talked about how I'm not a fan of that piece. But either way, again, just like the LV cosmetic pouch, you are kind of constrained by the shape of this bag. So since it kind of gets smaller at the top. You can really only fill it to about here if you put anything bulky at the top. Otherwise, then it will get all like wonky and stuff. So I do use this because this one is, I feel like, larger, so it can carry a good amount of stuff. But also it doesn't have a wipeable interior. So that always, you know, makes me take pause. I have used it once or twice. I have been able to fit all of my makeup products in it, and it's just such a beautiful piece. So I do like it a lot. But if I had to choose between this and the Truce 23, it would hands down be the Truce 23. So one that I find I have been using more is my Nice Vanity in the mini size. This one really is a convenient size, and I do like that since it's kind of that train case setup, it's easier to be able to like see and access your products more. I would say the main drawbacks about this one is that it has Vachetta on it, which I just... why do they have untreated Vachetta on a vanity piece? Like, this is going to likely sit in a bathroom where there's water and stuff. And so that bugs me. And the other thing is, compared to the Truce 23, which they do fit similar amounts. I mean, this one can fit a tad more, but this one I feel like is harder to pack, right? It's not as flat. Like the Truce is flat, and you know, yes, it's longer, but since it's flat, you can really like jam it into luggage and your carry-all bags. Or so this one I think is great. I don't use it when I fly, but I do use it if I'm taking like a quick weekend trip or a road trip. So I do like it for that, but I do think this one is a bit bulky. Finally, two makeup pouches or makeup items that I love, but I just don't recommend. First, let's talk about this Dior Velvet Oblique pouch. I got this because it's beautiful. Really, that's the only reason. I adore this pouch. I think it is really beautiful. I'm a content creator, so I feature stuff that looks, you know, pretty in my content. But if we're talking about like practical use, this is a terrible option. It's not lined in the interior, so you got all of this fabric in here. So I'd be so scared to like travel with beauty products in here for fear that it might stain. The velvet is delicate, you know, you're going to wear down the edges, you're going to get it dirty, and it's going to be really hard to clean if you were to actually use it the way pouches are intended to be used. So I feel like this is a collector's piece. This isn't really one I would use as an actual functioning makeup pouch. And then finally we have the Nice Vanity in the nano size. So I got this one because it's cute. I mean, just look at it. It's so cute. But it doesn't fit anything that, like, for, you know, an actual trip. If I was planning to take a trip and I was going somewhere, it's not going to fit all my makeup. It might fit all my mini makeup, but as much as I love traveling with minis, I also like traveling with my full-size products. So maybe, I guess, if I was in a pinch, I could use this. But again, if I'm going to use this, then I'm likely going to use my Truce 18 instead. Again, for packing purposes, I feel like that one's easier to pack. So this one's cute. It's kind of a decoration in my beauty room, or I use it in content. But if I'm fully honest, I don't actually use this one when I travel. So that wraps up my video on my top luxury beauty finds. Now, I would love to hear from you on what you guys think about luxury beauty. Again, particularly about the Louis Vuitton launch, but also about the pics that I shared, whether you agree, and what products you think should have made the list. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. And if you want to watch more of my luxury collection videos, I'll be sure to leave a playlist right here. And YouTube will also leave you a video of mine that they think you would like as well. Otherwise, bye for now.